Uja Seneb. I'm Seba Heru-Ka Anu, leader of the TaNefer Ankh Community, and I want to welcome you to KemetWay Outreach, my little video blog. I want to talk just a moment about a solution for African people globally, black people in general, which is the Kemetic Way of Life. Let me present this for us. When we, particularly those of us African Americans, when we look at the society that we live in, one of the things that we can say without dispute that we live in a society that is corrupt, government corrupt, that is racist, and that is an enemy and an antagonist towards the health and welfare of black people, not only here on these shores, but globally. A economic system that is a exploitive and destructive, corrupt economic system. A capitalist system requires really slave labor of others that you can exploit for the benefit of the wealth of other people, so that we black people are persistently exploited in this system. We live in a system, in a society that is morally bankrupt, so that when you talk about that which is right and true and doing that which is right and true, we know that throughout this society, whether it's its laws that are corrupt and bankrupt, whether it is its administrative system, so-called justice system, that it is anything but justice, but that it is a very, very corrupt and oppressive and just unjust system. So we live in a very bankrupt and backward society, which we define as a very barbaric society. But this is persistent and consistent of white people globally. All right, so KemetWay, the Kemetic Way of Life. When we ask ourselves, what can we do to address this bankrupt society, that we can change the conditions under which we live? Also, we ask ourselves, is there a possibility of living in a way that is just, that is true, where the institutions in the society are ordered based on truth and justice, where the economic system is based on fairness and shareness and access to everyone? The answer is yes, and the yes is in the Kemetic Way of Life. KemetWay, the Kemetic Way of Life, is the system that our ancestors used in developing their civilization and society. Now, just briefly, you may ask, well, why Kemet? Kemet is Africa's third oldest civilization, is Africa's youngest civilization, and which is now approximately 12,000 years old. However, it is Africa's first writing civilization. We're able to go to Kemet and read what our ancestors wrote about how they organized their society and how they organized their way of life. And what we are able to do when we go to Kemet and we look at what our ancestors did, we realize that they created a whole system where the entire society operated on the principles of justice, order, balance, and the society was organized towards the elevation of every human being to what we call optimal living standards. When we look at our the society of our ancient ancestors, it was a whole society. I mean, that is, that as a society where everything was taken into consideration and operated collectively. The Kemetic Way of Life I defined as a super system, as a whole system made up of subsystems. There were 4 systems that guided our ancestors, and they briefly are: the system for generating abundance and prosperity. It governed the economy, and the principle that governed this system we call Asar's mandate, which says that everyone has the collective responsibility to generate and share abundance and prosperity throughout creation. So therefore, you're responsible to look out and work with everyone. Another is what we call the system for establishing the just society, or the way of Ma'at. And in this system, the objective is to maintain order and balance throughout creation and throughout the society, throughout the communities that you live in, going down to the individual. So from myself throughout creation, I have a responsibility to live in the way of being just, true, in balance, in harmony with life itself. So we're seeking those relationships that we call life-centered relationships, and this is how our folks operated. Then there is the system that most people refer to as Kemetic spirituality, that we know of as the system for communicating, interacting, and living powerfully with creation. And this is a system for living in harmony and balance throughout creation and moving in the way of life itself. So life is the yardstick that guides us. Life is the yardstick by which we measure all of our relationships and our behaviors and our practices. In so doing, it means that our ancestors lived in a life-centered, life-generating, and life-sustaining way. And then the other is the system for living life on purpose and living life with a purpose. Some people may refer to this as the rites of passage. And what that is it's the system that guides you from birth to transition, from the time that you come into the womb and right on to the time that you enter into the tomb. And so these systems collectively make up the whole cloth, the whole integral society of the way of life. And what we find is that Kemet was responsible for the greatest civilization and society ever throughout the ancient world. And not only that, but the Kemet society was taken throughout this planet and engendered other societies, the societies in Sumer and Shang in China and Tane in Europe and more. Well, here is a system, when we look at this, that we today are using and restoring the wholeness to us. When we look at the impact of what white people have done to black people through invasion, colonization, conquest, slavery, segregation, and the like, what we see is that we've been torn asunder. Our societies have been torn apart, our communities have been torn apart, even down to our families. And what we are doing is we're using the model of our ancestors to reconstruct who we are. The Kemetic Way actually has the solution for what we need to do as a people. And so I am sharing this so that, to encourage you to take a look at the Kemetic Way of Life, at this Kemetic system, to see how it can impact you as well as it impacts me in restoring ourselves to a system that works. In other words, a civilization versus the way of barbarism by which white people live. The system, the way of life system, is just what it says, a system for improving the quality of life. And not only that, but for maintaining optimal life, so that in this system, as we come together and put these systems into place, what it does is it brings us together by way of community, and through community we are able to forge unity. Through this unity we then are able to establish the institutions, the industry, organization, programs, projects, all of what constitutes a society that works. And when you look at our history on this planet and look at what we have done as a people, we have established societies that work. We have established civilizations that work. Our oldest civilization, that's represented by African people today of the Twa and the Khoisan, it's a civilization of millions of years old. It's the gatherer-hunter civilization. Our second oldest civilization is that of the Nubian, which is the Nubian civilization, approximately 14,000 years old. It's pastoral civilization. And then the agricultural-based civilization, which is Kemet, is the youngest civilization, and it is the most profound in terms of its impact on people. Actually, I mean all people, but African people in particular. The Kemetic Way of Life offers solutions for us, and so through these four systems we are able to bring restoration. We're able to reconstruct the whole person. We're able to actually bring a system in place that will enable us to neutralize what the impact, the negative impact of white people's pathological society. So take a look at, visit our website, I should say, and see some of the literature that we have there. There are various brochures that you can get at our website at TaNeferAnkh.com. That's www.TaNeferAnkh, TaNeferAnkh.com. There are brochures there on community, brochures on the Kemetic Way of Life, brochures on Kemetic spirituality, so that you can get the information. Also, you can talk with us directly, and you can speak with me directly even, by writing to us at life@TaNeferAnkh.com. That's life at TaNeferAnkh.com. And you're welcome to call us directly at 443-453-3010. But I assure you, we as an African people already have a solution. We just simply need to put that solution in place. I encourage you to take a look at it, compare it to what you're using now, because as we look around North America at the lives of black people, what we see is failure throughout. A system that not only fails us, but a system that is designed to ensure that we do not succeed. However, the Kemetic Way of Life is a system that is based on improving the way of life. It is based on developing humanity as opposed to conquering and exploiting humanity. So again, I invite you to visit our website to get more information about what I am saying regarding the Kemetic Way of Life. And again, I'm Seba Heru-Ka Anu, leader of the community TaNefer Ankh. Visit the website at www.TaNeferAnkh.com and give us a call at 443-453-3010. With that, I'll say to you, Ankh Uja Seneb, that's of the ancient Kemetic language, and it means life, prosperity, and health. Have a wonderful day.